Hi guys, here's another page in a traveler's notebook. Now this is my little quote notebook, so I've got a quote there. I've grabbed digital paper from my Silver Linings kit, and I've also grabbed my bowl of frames that I never use, so I decided I would start using up some of those. I've got some random photos I'm going to put into them, but first I'm just going to peel off some of the chipboard so it's not quite as thick. I'm just carefully peeling off as much as I can, so make them as flat as possible, which did take a little bit of time. I did have to be slightly careful of, but once I've got them all done, I can just glue them onto the page. I'm going to use a little bit of double-sided tape just because the chipboard is quite rough now, so a glue runner is probably not going to be that good for that. This does take a little bit of time too. I don't normally use double-sided tape, mostly because I'm so useless at taking the backing off. I think because maybe I've got short nails, it makes it harder, I'm not sure. So I am gonna skip out quite a bit of this because I did faff about for quite a long time. Until you can see I grabbed some tweezers and that made it much easier. So I'm gonna say it probably is because of my short nails. And so I'm just going to do the exact same thing to the other two frames, except this time using the tweezers straight away. And I'm just adding that onto my digital paper first, and I'll stick the paper down onto the left hand side after I've done this. I do need to stick that paper down onto there because there is some stamping showing through on the back of that page. That's why I've grabbed a paper. I just want to cover that up a little bit. And now these random photos, I wasn't going to reprint photos to fit into these frames. I was just going to use the random photos I had sitting on my desk. So the biggest one was still too small to fit into the biggest frame. So I've trimmed it so it's got a little bit of the yellow showing. And I'm going to do the same thing to these other ones. I'm just going to trim them so that a little bit of the background paper is showing. And that way it sort of looks like it's on purpose, despite it not actually being on purpose. Now, a couple of these photos are sprocket photos, so they are adhesive, so I can just whip them onto the page super easy. The other one's just a regular photo, so I need a bit of tape runner. And now for the important part of this page, which is the quote. So I'm using the Anzac Ave Alpha from Kelly Stamps, and I am just going to spell out my quote. So the first word, which I want to have a little bit of emphasis, I'm just using the outline version of the alpha, and the rest of it I'm going to use the filled in alpha. So my quote is from a book I was reading by Jen Hatmaker, and I'm stamping out "Someday is right now, in the life you already have," which it really spoke to me. Too often I feel like I put things off, hoping that one day, someday I'll get to them, and I guess lately I've been trying to live more on the philosophy of do it now because there is never going to be a better time. And again, I'm adding just a bit of emphasis to the word you, just by using the outline stamps, and wait for it. Oh yeah, that's not really how you spell already, Diane. I was like, oh no. It would have been good if it was, because it would have fit a bit better, but it isn't. I didn't really know how I was going to fix that. So in the end, I just stamped straight over the top. It's not perfect. I can read it, it says already, so I'm just going to go with good enough for now. I didn't want to have to redo that whole page again for the sake of one little letter. I just wasn't paying attention, so lesson learned. So despite the mistake, I still love the page, I love the sentiment, I love the colours, I love the photos, so it all works for me. If you want to keep watching, there's a couple more videos on screen. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye!